I all hope you can hear me. This is just to let you know that my computer's audio will be muted for 5 to 10 minutes more because I want to avoid the beeping sound that comes when new participants join. So please keep your doubts with yourselves. I mean, we will have a doubt session. So first, let's just wait for 5 more minutes for more participants to join. All right. Thank you. Yeah. So till we wait, you can maybe type in some queries you may have on the chat box. I'll try to answer that.
Sir? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Bishaka Panda, I can see that you're trying to say something, but as I said, okay,
Sir?
just a minute.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, yeah. As I've said, I have muted my computer's audio, so please wait till I unmute it so that I can hear you guys. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Abhiram Dinesh, this is a tutorial session where we'll discuss and solve problems. Lecture, okay. So where we will discuss and solve problems, and so while we are solving, uh, we'll also we may cover through some hidden concepts, some small tricks, tips, and all, and yeah. So it's not just a doubt clearing session, and everybody who is asking for the recordings, as Ambuj Dubey has said, the link for that, the drive link for that, and all that has been will be shared to you, will be shared with you from the NPTEL people. They'll do it. I hope my audio is clear. If you can just put a thumbs up or whatever. I just want to make sure that my audio is clear. All right, cool, cool. Thanks. Kindly improve audio quality. Uh, Now, is there any disturbance? Yeah, I think there may have been disturbance because I was holding the mic. So because of the wire rubbing with my on my face, maybe there was some disturbance. Okay, I hope. Yeah, I request you not to share the uh, share links and all in the chat here. I mean, whoever is in the course, they will get the link. So please avoid doing that. Even this will go on YouTube, so don't worry. So, yeah, so like I said, whoever has a doubt can please type on the chat box. We have 1 minute 3 seconds till we start. Okay, 1 minute till we start. So now 93, 94. So people are joining slowly. That is why I said we can wait for them. Yeah, and I hope you have solved week 1 and week two's assignments and submitted it on time. And from week 2 onwards, there will also be a programming assignment. So, sir, sir, speak loudly. Yeah. So the meter here, the audio meter, it is showing max. So I think there is some problem with your speaker. So please check that. Week 2 is irrelevant. Okay, let's. Sorry. Uh, See, exam related things. Okay. So it is 6:07. I think we can start now. Yeah, so someone asked, someone said they have some programming, they have some issue with solving the programming problems. Yeah, so we'll not solve the ones in the assignments, of course. We'll try to solve similar or dissimilar ones, you'll get to know. And then, so see, so assignments and all, I can't, the deadlines, I don't set the weekly assignments, and they will not be extended. You can, and see, I can't extend, and even the people who have the power, they will also not extend, because it's not just 1 or 2 people who are there in the course. There are hundreds and thousands of people. Okay, wait, I'll actually see how many people I have enrolled. Okay, so yeah, it is time. So let's just start with the course. What is range? Hey, range, you should have known. I mean, in week 2 and week 1, range is when uh, you want numbers or characters or whatever in a specific set. So you create a list. You can create a list with range. Range just says that I am traversing from one part of a range to another part of the range. I mean, I'm just moving through. So yes, see, assignment deadlines are already mentioned, and as far as I know, both week 2 and week 1 assignments, their deadline is tomorrow. So range both. Okay, okay. Yeah, and Vishak Pandey. So please, I mean, see, there is you won't have to write. I mean, usually in NPTEL courses, the final exam you'll have to go to a computer center, and there uh, this thing will be there. So uh, in the computer center, the screen will have questions, and you will get a pad and a pen they provide, or you may have to bring your own pen for rough work and all the things you'll have to type, and there will be multiple choice questions. You may have to write programs. So writing programs, they can't check the whole program, so they'll have to check the output. So they'll whatever program you give, they can't read line by line. So what they'll do is they'll have a set, not set, they'll arbitrarily give that function some input, and if the output is satisfactory, if it is correct, then your answer will be correct. That's all. Of course, they can't check line by line, and so you should have that clarity. So let's not. Yes, I'll start.
Good evening, sir.
I'll start to share my screen, share the entire screen. Uh, hmm. Yeah, so I hope you can see my screen. I'll go to this page. So this is the week 2's assignment, which I will not be doing, about the course, about the announcements, about the course. Okay. So now I can't actually check how many have enrolled, but never mind this. I'll go to my presentation. I hope you can see my screen. Uh, so I'll cover some content first. Then then if you have any doubts, I can address those. So yeah. So hi all, I'm Aditya, and this is week 2 of live session. So let's just yeah. Yeah, so one thing we missed last week was there was one more function that I wanted to cover, but since there wasn't enough time, I'll just start with that. It will take hardly 5-10 minutes, and then we can continue with week 2 content. Okay, so I'll explain this function, and then I'll ask you one question, and you will have to answer that. Okay, you can write on chat or whatever. I'll like stop sharing and go to that window. All right. So my function definition is, I mean, the name of my function is f. N is my input. I start with some counter, which is s. I mean, I initialize s as 0, and I write a for loop for I in range 1 to n plus 1. And as you know, if I want to traverse from 1 to n, I'll have to give the range n plus 1, because that is how Python reads it. And one more thing, if I don't mention 1 here, if I just write range, and in brackets I'll write n plus 1, then it will go from 0 to n. Okay, that is just for you to know. So this is the modulo operator remainder. So indentation is somewhat bad here, because since if lies within for and this lies within if, a proper indentation should have been there, but it's not there. So never mind. So I'm checking if I is a factor of n. Okay, n is my input. I'm traversing from 1 to n, the values of I. I want to check if n is a factor of, if I is a factor of n, that means when I do n by I, my remainder will be 0. That is what this function says. So if this is true, then my s counter will increase. So I am basically counting the number of factors. All right. So I'll return true, right? So this means it will check my condition. Okay, if s modulo 2 equal to 1, that means uh, if it is an odd number, right? If s modulo 2 equal to 0, that means the number of factors are even. So, and if it is 1, it means it's odd, right? Because odd even, if I do 3 by 2, 3 by 2 is 1, I mean the quotient is 1 and the remainder is also 1. So I want to return, so this will check if this is valid. Since double equal to is there, it is checking the see, single equal to is value assignment or updation. Double equal to is checking if it is true or not, checking a condition. So if this is true, as in if the number of factors are odd, it will return true. I mean, yeah, if this is valid, it will return true, else it will return false, or else it will not return no, it will return false. So true if the number of factors are odd. So what do we call such numbers? This is what you have to answer in the chat. I'll stop sharing for a second. Certification regarding things, please don't ask me. I've told you in the last class as well. So I stopped presenting. Question is yes. So as Aditya Satvik said, a perfect square will have odd number of factors, because if I can write a number x as a into b, right? So if a is 1, b is x, like that. So for each number, so I have 24, 1 into 24, 2 into 12, 3 into 8, 4 into 6. So each number has a pair. So that way when I count the number of factors, they're even. But if I have a number like 16, 16 is 1 into 16, 2 into 8 and 4 into 4. So 4 is the same number, it is repeating. So if a number is a perfect square, the number of factors will be odd. That's all. So that is just a quick fact or whatever. Now I'll go back to presenting. I'll assume you can see my screen. So what did we do in, like, what was covered in week 2? Different types of variables: int, string, and boolean, and then lists. And then we also saw immutable and mutable values or variables. So mutable means they can be mutated. Okay, so they can be mutated means I can assign the same, I mean I can have many names for one variable. Let's say there is someone called Rahul, and at his home they call him Chotu, Bittu, or whatever. So regardless of the name, the person is the same. So he can have more than one name. So that is how. So lists are type of, so lists are mutable. I can assign the I can assign different names to the same list, and immutable values. So uh, so like I have int, string, uh, all these all these types of variables. These are immutable. So one value can have only one name. If I assign the same value to a different name, then a copy of it will be created, and both of them will be detached. So whatever whatever operation I perform on the first value, the first named value, it will not affect the second one. Whereas in mutable, it will affect. So so if Rahul's height has been increased through the past years by, let's say, half a foot, so even Chotu's height will increase. So that is a very crude example, but it is just to explain it better. And then how we can manipulate lists, how we can copy a list without linking it to the previous name, all those things, and some list operations and all, appending and concatenating, etc., etc. And then basic syntax of a function was mentioned, and what is recursion, that was also explained. So recursion is when a function calls itself. Okay, so yeah, and of course it can't keep calling itself, there should be an exit condition. So if that exit condition is not satisfied, then it will call itself till the exit condition is satisfied. So each time it calls itself, some updation will happen, and we'll start getting closer to the exit condition, that is a return condition or whatever. So if we don't have that, then it will be an error, because it will keep on going in a loop infinitely, and uh, will not end the code, of course. So flow of control, how a code works, I mean from top to bottom, and how we can manipulate this flow by adding conditional statements like if, else, elif, etc., etc. And also loops, for loop, while loop, what is the difference between the two loops, when is one used. And we also saw how we can write a for loop as a while loop, right? Yeah, but doing that, but we should have clarity where to use for loop and where to use while loop. But I can also write a while loop with a for loop. So but I mean, so you can interchangeably use the loops, but you should know how to write it, and it will be more efficient if you use the loops as intended, and not not just randomly go. And so that's all. So then now it is time to look at some problems that we can solve this week. So so first we'll just discuss a few things, right? Then I'll give you some tasks, I mean I'll give you some problems to solve, and I'll give you time, you can solve, I mean you will have to write functions and all. And then we'll discuss that, your approach, my approach, or someone else's approach. We'll discuss the approaches we have, and we'll check that which is more efficient, which is not efficient, I mean all that. Okay, so let's just see this. I mean, you may have seen something this in your assignment too as well. So this is basically an exercise with mutable and immutable things. Okay, so let's just see what is going on here. So each of these bunch of statements has an incorrect statement. So when my interpreter will start reading the code, it will go from top to bottom. It will keep on reading. It will say, okay, it's a valid statement, yes. Next statement, yes, yes, yes. Once it hits something which is not valid, it will say, okay, it's better to, yeah. So once it will hit something which is not valid, then it will say I'll stop here, and then it will refuse to read further. That's all. So please look at this. I mean, I'll give you it is there on the screen. I will wait for 2 minutes. Okay, I'll wait for 2 minutes, and then you can, and then we'll see that what is wrong, what is not wrong. Okay. So recursion with one example. Didn't you see the factorial one? Factorial example was there, and please keep the screen. Oh, sorry. So again, I'm requesting you that try to. I mean, what I'll say is take a pen and a paper, and keep updating the values yourself or in your mind. So, okay, or in your mind, just keep updating the values in your mind, and just go with the flow. Wherever you think that the statement is not valid, there you can just mark that, and then be done. Okay, so first this, then this, it is 1 minute for each, but if you all need, I'll give you like 1 more minute total, so that everybody has time to, see what is going on. So then we can discuss this. Similar problem must have been in your second assignment. It's not the same. I hope it's not the same. And you can, sorry, I was just drinking water. So, so 2 minutes are done, but last 1 minute. So this assignment is basically to see when a what kind of variables are mutable, what kind of variables are immutable, and when you can make one mutable value immutable. Okay. See, you can't do vice versa. You can't make a string mutable, but you can make a list immutable. That's what. So this is basically an assignment on that, and you have to identify what is happening where. Easy. So 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Okay. So this is done. So I think we should skip to the answer. If someone has written anything in the chat, I had statement 5, statement 6. All right. Anyway, 7. Okay. You all have your answers. So you can verify that when we actually look at the solution for this. Oh God. Oh. So we start with this, which is statement 1. So x is defined as a list of 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, just a minute. You know, small error here. Just so it is. I don't know. Something is wrong with my computer. So never mind. So I'll just go to this. So this is x has been defined as a list with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements. First one is a string. Second one is a list with one value. Third one is an integer. Fourth one is also a string. Fifth one is a list. And I'm assigning. I'm copying y to x. So now the question is y pointing at whatever x is pointing. So yeah, I'm assigning this value. I'm copying y to x. So it says 0 to 8. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it can go only till 0 to 4, but this also valid because it says copy from 0 to 8, but it will stop at 4 because there is nothing after that, right? So now the question is, are x and y pointing at the same thing? So the answer for that is no, because if I had written y equals x, that means it's fine. But since I wrote y equals x of this thing 0 to 8, that means I'm copying the value of x and putting it to y. So y is now a separate entity. It's not pointing towards whatever x is pointing. See, this one, statement 3, z equals x. This means this means x and z are connected. Z is a new variable which is also pointing to whatever x is pointing at. Okay, so now we have two things. First is being pointed by x and z. Second is being pointed by y, and I have also assigned y w to be y. So now w and y are pointing towards whatever y was pointing. Okay. So now I said z of 0 is 0. So since so first element, so 0 here means 1, of course, Python notation. I hope you remember that, because it is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this string has become 0 since x and z are coupled, whatever thing I change in z, x will also get affected. So this also means x of 0 is 0. All right. Statement 6, y of 0 equals y of this thing, whatever y of 0, y of 0 this thing plus k. See, someone said statement 5 was wrong. They thought that I am replacing a value in a string. I am not replacing in a value, I am just concatenating. Okay, so 0 to 3 means this all these n I 0 1 2, right, 0 1 2, and this e has been removed, and I didn't replace that. If I wanted to replace, I would write I would write this here itself. I'll write y0, then I'll put one more square bracket, I'll write 3, and then I'll write k, but I can't write that because strings are immutable. So I'm concatenating the first 3 elements with k. So now it is NICK, that's all. So I can perform this operation. Concatenation can be performed. I can't replace values blindly. I can't just assign a replace value. Okay, please keep that in mind. So this thing again, now I'm going to y of 1. So even w has been changed. Please keep that in mind. And now I'm doing this y of 1 is so so this is sub. Okay, so first one means the index of the main list. Second one means index of the whatever that is inside. I mean this one or whatever. I can also have a third. If I have a list inside a list, or a string inside a list inside a string, or list inside a list inside a list, that I can have as many as it allows. Okay, so 1 to 3 means second to fourth. So you can see it is empty. So I can just so since it is a list, I can just assign those values here. Okay, the same thing I can't do with a string, but this I can do with a list. So now this term has been changed to, I mean I'm pointing towards x, but this is since y has the same value, I'm just saying. So now this has been changed to so now the second term in y is 7 5 8. Okay, it's a list 7 comma 5 comma 8. Yeah, now so we saw that x0 was nice, right? So I said okay, fine, it is nice. I will change this to I'll write x0 equals x0 of 1 2. I mean this whole nice is now just 1 2 3. So 1 to 2, it's just IC, right? This means it's just IC, but this statement is wrong. Why? Because x0 is not nice anymore, it is just 0, and this operation which I can perform on a list or a string, I can't perform on an integer, because integer it has only one value. So there is no such thing as so this itself is invalid. There is no such thing as x of 0 of 1 to 3, because it does not have second or third value. Yeah, if it were a list, then then even second or third values are not there, I can it will just create that. But in case of an int, that is not true. So that is why this statement is wrong, and here is where my interpreter will stop. Okay, so after that these two statements, it will not even go. Well, yeah, if I write something like pass here, so pass we'll get to pass later. And whoever has attended the Sunday's session by Borosh, I think he must have explained what pass is. Okay, so now the second one, same initialization, and now instead of 8 it is 10. Like I said, it does not matter, because it knows that there is nothing else there. It's all null set, so it will just stop at 4, and then z equal to x, same thing again. Yeah, this statement is wrong. Why? because I'm saying the I want to replace this third. See, 2 means 3. Please, I mean, I'm telling you again and again. 0 means 1, 2 means 3, because it is no. I mean, naturally we start with 1, but for programming the first thing is 0. See, because in a building we have ground floor, first floor, second floor, right? So ground floor is the 0th floor. So that is how the interpreter works. That is how most of the programming languages work. So I am saying this thing. I am saying replace the third element with L. So I want to make nice Nile, but no, I can't do that because I can't perform that operation on a string. I can replace a value in place if it was a list, but I can't do that with a string. So this is so you have to be very clear with what variables you are using and how you use them. Okay, so all these statements which follow that, they don't hold any weight. So yeah, so so yeah, and one more thing that is important is to see the type of the error. Okay, because it was mentioned in second week's one of the lectures that there are many. See, error is error. So error will have type. So one of the basic things that we might observe is the indentation error. Okay, so each error type has a name. So let's just find out what that is. So last time I used Google Colab. Some were asking why this, why not Python. So yeah, why not Python? So I'll just use Python. So I'll just quickly write this. So x is
Sir, I had a question with respect to the
yeah.
sixth
So don't
statement.
mind caps and all. I mean, yeah, it is case sensitive. So here I have caps. Here I don't have caps. So just I mean, please remember Python is case sensitive. So for that sake, I'll just write it in caps. Right, 21 rider 3 comma 4. This is x. If I so why is it showing dot dot dot? Because I didn't close this square bracket. So whatever I write here will still be part of the list, right? So I'll just do this. So x has been closed. If I want x is this. Now I'll assign y as x 0 to 8. Then I'll do z equals x, w equals y, z0 is 0. So here is where I changed nice to uh, 0. So if I see what is z, it is basically this, right? And if I type x, same thing should come. I'll not do that because I want to look at this error. I mean, yeah, it will still show. So we know that these two statements are true, but I'll still write it for completion's sake. Y0. So now to show that they're decoupled, just show y. So y is still nice here. Okay, the first element in y is still nice. So now I want to change that first element to something. Cool. So now y has been changed to Nick, like I said. So I'm not replacing e with k. I mean, in essence, that's what I'm doing. But I'm not. I'm I'm see. I'm not directly replacing. I'm removing e, then adding k. That's something I can do, but I can't replace it in place. Okay, so then this, and just to show that y and w and y are same, I'll hit this. So even w, the first term became Nick. Okay, so Now I'll add elements. Okay, so the size of this is just 1, but I can add more elements to it. So y has been changed to 758. The second element in y is now 758. Okay, now for the wrong statement. So it is a type error. Okay, this error is called a type error, where there is an issue with variables. Okay, so I can't perform an operation that I can usually perform on string or int on an int, sorry, on a string or a list on an int. So it's called a type error. Okay, so I'll just write here, or I'll write that later. You will have it updated in the presentation. Right. Sir, explain how statement 8 is wrong. Now I hope you know the answer, Kote Ishwari. So statement 8 is wrong because uh, see, the first element in x became 0 after I did this z0 0, and z and x are linked, pointing to the same things. I didn't decouple them, so I can't perform this operation on an int. Okay, so class int. Okay, it's an int, it is not a list. Whereas okay, so this is a string, it was a string, it became int. So 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. So type this is a string. Okay, this class is a string, this is an int. Okay, so that's what you need to know, what kind of error this is. Okay, so let's try this now. Okay, this will take less time, because there are 2 less statements and the first 4 lines are the same, or I'll actually write this here itself. Okay, because since everything else is the same, so I'll try to do this. This is replacing string in a place. Okay, sorry, replacing the element of a string in a place. Okay, I'll also show that you can do it on lists and you can't do it on string. Capital L, sorry, yeah, hit enter. No, this is also type error. Type error is when I perform an invalid operation on a specific variable type. Okay, so if that variable type does not support that operation, I will get a type error. Easy, that's all. Same thing if I do with this. If I do y of 1, uh, let's say, okay, 1 2 3 4, so y 4, and I say that I want to replace the second value. Okay, equals 7. This works because in a list I can replace a value in place. So now y has become this. Instead of 3 4, it has become 3 7. Easy. So yeah, now to see if you have any doubts. Okay, I think it was quite clear. It was just a practice on uh, what types of variables you can use. And now let's go back to the presentation.
So could you please explain the line number 6 of
So
the first
this week is just for
first
basics
code?
of Python and all. Next week things will start to heat up with like writing more complex functions and all. It will just keep on getting complex. So yeah, now it is for your task. So the task you have in hand is, I have a word that is, I mean, in I input a string. Okay, so I input a string. My string is, let's say, rhetorical. Okay, that's the word I have. I wish to print this. So what is this? this is every alternate letter. Okay, I printed H, skipped T, sorry, skipped E, then T, then R, then C, then L. Okay, but I can just start reading it. I can increase it by 2 and then keep on printing, or I can just say if I is if I is odd, don't print. If I is even, print. I mean, it's not about odd even, since we start with 0. So if I is odd, then print, because 0, 1, 2, so 1 is odd, so print, and if it is even, don't print. That I can do, but the condition that is when we read it from left to right. I start with R, then H, blah blah blah. Now I want to read the string in reverse, so I want to start with L, then print. Okay, so how will I do that? Oh, sorry. Yeah. So how will I do that? So I'll give you 10 minutes for that. You write a function for that, and then in between we can discuss. Okay, start the timer for 10 minutes. So in between we can, if you have any, I mean, so 1 minute for to see the screen, and if you wish to write it down or type it down somewhere, please do. Okay, then I'll stop sharing the screen. So yeah,
Sir, I have a doubt. I have a doubt in the question.
so just 1 minute is over, so you have the remaining time to write the function. So the task is write a function, and whatever I give as input, so my function will return a value, right? Wait, yeah. So my function, yeah, please don't start writing on the comments. Please refrain from doing so. You have to write, no, you have to write the function yourself, not on the chat box here. Okay, please don't do that. Write the function yourself on your screens and on your computers and all, and we'll discuss that. Okay, I gave you 10 minutes, but if you know the logic, it should take 3 to 4 minutes tops, but still, please do that. Just go through the chat if output of statement 10 is wrong. Okay. So uh, Anjali Raj had a doubt from the previous question. What is statement 2? And someone already answered, but if you didn't get it, uh, I'm just copying. So x is here with so many values, y is here, right? I'm taking these values, copying them, and keeping them in, not keeping them, copying them, and keeping the copy in y. Okay, that's what I'm doing. Uh, But if I were to write, like, the statement after that was z equals x. So that way x is this, x is here, x is pointing at this, z is here, z is also pointing at this. So I'm not copying it, I'm just saying, okay, this list can also be called z. That's all. So I hope it is clear. Anjali Raj, does why now? So while I am looking at the screen, I am not able to read the chat.
Sir?
Okay, wait, I'll so how much time is left?
Sir?
5 minutes are left. I'll wait, I'll unmute the screen. If some of you have any doubts, you can ask. Yeah, the platform is now open for doubt, open queue. People have raised their hands. So first is Yashishri. Yashishri, please attending.
Sir, so I'm unable to print the exact words. You have given the word theoretical, but I'm unable to print the exact words.
So that was just an example. The main task was to print every alternate letter from the beginning. Okay, that was the main task. So yeah, I gave the word rhetorical, but yeah, so R H E T, it starts like that. So print, so leave the first letter, print the second. So leave R, print H, leave E, print T. So every every alternate letter. It's not you don't have to stick to it. Okay, that was a task. And
Okay.
yeah, and Bishaka Panda, please, you may ask.
Yes, in the previous question, if we will check for the statement 10, then it is a like conditions. Huh? It will check the condition.
Okay, I'll just see that and let you know. I know the screen is not shared. Uh, I'll just see statement 10. Yeah, it is a condition, right? So if it is true, then A will be true. If it is false, A will be false. I mean, you check the, whenever there is double equal to sign, it is called equality. So if my left hand and right side, if my left side and right side are equal, then that means it's true. So it's a Boolean variable. A is a Boolean variable. So if if it is true, A will be true will be stored. I mean, A will be true. If it is not true, then false. I hope that is clear.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. Ah, okay, let's go to the chat. More people are typing. Yeah, like I said, do not write the function in the chat. Okay, I want people to PPT available. Yes, one drive link must have been shared. No, one drive link must have been shared where I'll insert all the PPTs. So first one is there. First one is there already. Just access that. Yeah, I've made one or two changes from the class, whatever it was. So wait, what is the time now? You have 2 more minutes left. Okay, 2 minutes 20 something seconds, less than that. 2 minutes. So once you will be done, you can raise your hands. I'll ask the logic from one or two people. Then we'll write the open queue. Arukara, are you discussing the question or do you have some doubt? Vinay.
No, sir, I have completed my question.
Yeah. So wait for 2 more minutes. Less than 2 minutes are left. Wait for that. Once that is done, we'll discuss that. All right.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, please lower your hand, Vinay. I'll, or actually keep it raised. I'll call you the first when we discuss. Yeah, Yashishri.
Sir, I have printed it alternatively, like HDREL, no? You said that. So you just said that it will be printed alternatively, like F H one time H one time T, like this. If I'm not wrong.
Okay. Yeah. So one more thing I forgot to say was, okay, maybe not forgot. It's not just about printing; it is about storing it somewhere and then printing it. So you can do that. Yeah. One condition that I gave you was you have to read the string right to left, not left to right. So that condition, I hope it is true. So back traversing, right? So we'll know when I read the actual code. Only 20 seconds are left. So I'll just stop that. We'll quickly discuss your logic. Then we'll yeah, time's up. So yeah, Vinay, Vinay, are you there?
Sir, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So what logic did you use?
Uh, Actually, I used that slicing, string slicing,
Okay,
taking an variable a and storing the string in it, and and I took a function slice of a.
okay.
Then in the definition of the function, like def slice of a, result is equal to
No, no, wait, wait,
a.
wait. Don't read out the whole code. Just tell me the logic part. I
Okay,
mean,
okay.
you'll have a loop, right, in for, while, or
No,
some loop.
not so loops. I took like a. I used the string slicing method.
String slicing method. All
Yes.
right, all right. So you got the answer, no?
Yeah, yeah, I got, sir.
Yeah, but I think the condition was wrong because I specifically asked to traverse the string and then do it. Okay. Anyway,
Traverse in the sense taking this slicing and reversing it. It will also come, sir.
all right,
And
all right.
for left to right, for string slicing from taking the positive integers and like printing for in the reverse order, we are like keeping is from starting point of the string to ending point by -1.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Fine, fine. That is how you traverse it from right to left. Okay, okay. Next, I mean next, as in, has anyone else done? I'm willing to listen to a few more, one or two more, and then yeah, Yashi Sri.
Yes, sir. So I've
Okay.
done.
No, no, no. So what have you done? What logic have you used?
So the slicing one thing I did.
Slicing wala thing. Okay. Uh, okay, fine. Let's discuss what uh, can also be done. So your methods are right or wrong. You have to be the judge of that. Okay. Shankar, Arman. Okay. Sakshar has. Yeah, Sakshar.
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I also did, but not using the slicing. Sir, I actually used a for loop from the last element, and then I gradually traversed towards the front, and then I stored the means the letters which I want to match. I stored them in another string, and at the end of the loop, I printed that string.
Okay. That is. But did you get? You stored it from the last to the first.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. I stored it from the
So did
last.
you get
I
in the
checked on the last
ascending
element.
order
And,
or the? So did you get that
no, no,
in
sir.
the?
Sir, should I type the code
No,
in
no,
the
no,
comment
don't.
section?
No, 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 don't. Okay, so now I have a basic idea of what logic you have used. It's okay. Good. Uh, Only one more. Arman. Arman.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Hello.
just explain your logic.
Here I made a new empty string and then take a range from on the first string from left from the rightmost element and decrease it by -2 and then add it in the second string and then print.
Okay, okay, great. Let's let's write the code ourselves now. So for now, I'm muting the volume again. Okay, sorry for that. Yeah, let's type the code and let's see what is happening. So this was the incorrect lines. Yeah, 10 minutes are done, and I will. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, so like I said, collab, you can also use collab, Google Colab. So the advantage with this is in Python interpreter you will see that I can't make any changes here, right? I mean, but here I can. So in Python interpreter, when I hit enter, it will run. But here I can actually make the changes. All right. So it's loading. Hmm. So my function, I'll call it str out. I mean, its name is it's my choice. So right. So input is string s. I'll call it s, and I'll so one space. Okay. Make sure indentation is very important. I'll create, let's say, an empty string called answer. Okay. So when I hit double quotes 2 times, it means there is nothing inside. It is empty. Now to traverse the string, okay, for in range, sorry, I in range, for I in range, like I said, I want to go from right to left. So I'll start with len. So len is, this length of a string, length minus 1, of course, because I mean, instead of going till 0, I'll write going till -1, so it will by default stop at 0. Like when you put the upper limit as n, it stops at n minus 1. Similarly, this works. So since I'm starting from a higher number and going to a lower number, my counter will be negative. And since I want to skip alternate digits, I'll put -2. All right, I've put -2. So this indentation, it mostly does on its own, but today I am having to do it for some reason. And just a minute, control. Yeah, I hope the code is now visible. So I'll store this as answer is equal to answer plus s of I, and I will return answer. Before I run this,
So there is a missing colon.
okay, I'll run this and you will see something that sorry, yeah, now I'll do, this was a name and my okay.
So the colon is missing beside the font.
So now when I press connect, these two will get connected, and the way I run is I'll first run this. So I can either click this or I can hit alt plus, oh god, yeah, so this I forgot, sorry. I'll run this again. Even here it is expected. So this syntax is what you have to keep in your mind, and return is outside, so one indentation is missing. So just uh, remember that when I do this. So it is printing from the reverse. So this is wrong. How can I make it right? I just have to remove this. Instead of doing this, I'll do this, right? You may think a plus b and b plus a are same. No, they are not same, because this plus for strings is concatenation, right? So I got my answer. So what I wanted to convey from this was concatenation of strings. A plus b is ab, b plus a is ab. So if my string a is just a, string b is b, if I write a plus b, I'll get ab, I'll not get ba. So they are not same. It's not mathematics, it is concatenation. So this rule is what you have to remember. Okay. So when I uh, swapped the places here, I got I got it in a reverse order, because, or wait, I'll just print ans. So this is something you can do. I also showed it in the last. I also showed it the last time. This is something you can do to understand the flow of the code. Okay, so when I hit enter, so first ans has is L, right? Last letter of rhetorical L. Skip one, then go to C. Then so this is how it is incrementing. When I do return here, it will return it in quotes. So this last line is not a part of. I mean, it is not a part of the for loop. This whole thing is part of the for loop. So this increment in the answer is added behind it. Okay, so L, I added C behind L, then I added R behind CL. That is what is happening. So if I add it in front of it, sorry, shift enter, not alt enter. Yeah. So now it is being added in, so in front of it. Okay. So this is a minute difference that I just wanted to point out. Okay. So yeah, so let's quickly go to the next one, updation of values. There are more tasks. Okay, whatever. Uh, so I have x, y, u, v, x, y, u, w, and a, b, c, d. So I have these two. I have these two groups of numbers. Okay, so I'll ask you a question on poll, not on chat, on poll, and you have to just answer. Okay, so so what I'll ask you to do is just look at this and just write in your notebook pad or your screen, not the chat, please, not the chat. Just write somewhere where only you can see what the values of x, y, u, v, and x, y, u, and w will be after this, and what the values of a, b, c, d will be after this, after these set of operations. Okay, so 2 more minutes. Okay, 2 minutes for that, because it's a very basic problem. So once you have done that, I'll ask you questions on poll, and you can answer that. Okay, you just have to choose an option and you can answer that. So the first one is maybe, since it has strings and everything, it maybe it is maybe more difficult than the second one. So yeah, so like it was mentioned in the second week's lecture, I can have single or double quotes. All right. So I'll 1 minute is up. Second minute. So once did so I hope you have done at least the first one. Once it is done, just keep a note of the values, like what is x, what is y, what is u, what is w. Okay, just keep a note of the values. uh, Keep it somewhere other than the chat. I mean, I still haven't checked what what you have written. I'm sure some people may have. So because this is a practice for yourself. Okay, so if you help others, it's good, but I mean, let them try it first, and then you can answer. So one thing I'll like to mention here is 5 4 3 2 1. So one thing I'd like to mention here is, like, that you know this already, but when I have just the colon, it means from start to beginning. If I have 2 to colon, that means third element to end. Okay, here end is just the fourth element, but end means if I had like hundreds of numbers here, or not numbers, hundreds of things in the list, or objects in the list, that means it will start from 3 and copy the entire thing, that is after the third element. Okay, similarly one, and if I don't have something here, I mean, question is the same. Whatever I change I make here, it does not matter. Okay, please, question what this is the actual question, this is not. If I write 2 here, so if I have nothing below the colon, by default it starts with 0. Okay, that's all. So now I'll go to the polls, stop sharing. I'll go to create a small poll. Okay, so I want the value value of just give me one more minute. Right. All right. Yeah, so that now the poll is live. You will be able to see the poll. Yeah, some people have answered. Indentation error is coming. Missing colon. Nowhere have I missed any colon, and there is no indentation error in the. Okay, so sorry. This was for the previous one. Yeah, thanks for sharing that poll. Only. Hmm.
Sir, would love to see the question once.
Wait. While people are answering, we can have some doubts. Now, please raise your hands, and then I'll call you one by one.
Sir, display question.
Okay. Oh, display. Hey, I I
The
told you
poll is
to.
not live if it is.
The poll is live, and the question I actually waited for 2 to 3 minutes. It was on screen, and I specifically asked you to solve it then, and just keep the note of the values.
I was missed that part, sir. I was
Oh,
missed.
okay. Uh, yeah, I'll show that once the poll is finished. I'll show that once you can practice it. But I think a similar question is there on assignment 2. So if you have confidently done that, I mean, if you have done that and you are confident that it is correct, then I think, I mean, so yeah, so a few people have voted. Uh, I think I'm receiving all kinds of different answers. So uh, one more minute and I'll end the poll. Did not write the question. Sudhir Kumar. He must have joined a little late. Uh, I mean, now that time's almost up. Once it is done, I'll show you the question. You can write it down once if you want. But like I said, a similar question is available in assignment 2. So just keep a note of it. Only one question. There was a programming task that I gave you, writing a function. I hope you did that. There are two more to come, so it'll get interesting. All right, I'll only one question in the poll. Yeah, because it is related to the problem. So yeah, option 2 is correct. 421, 300, 421 and 301. I'll now let's go through why it is correct. I'll share the screen. Right, so question was this, right? Okay. Sorry, I'll create one more poll for the second set. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll just create one more poll for this, and you can answer that. So I'll just explain like why I asked this. This is also just to show that u and x are coupled, and this just a minute. So u and x are coupled. Okay, here at 1 2 3 at line 4, w and x became coupled, but once I said w equals w of this thing, so I copied and pasted whatever was there in w. Since I did copy and a paste, a new value was created and w is now pointing towards that, so it became decoupled from y. So whatever change I make on w will not affect y and vice versa, but since x and u are coupled, whatever change I make on x will affect you. That's all. So that was my thing, and this second question is there. So instead of a poll, I'll just have you type the answer in the chat, or I will make a even, I mean, this is a similar exercise, okay, because I mean, first one was, honestly, if you get the first one, the second one should not be an issue. So we'll I mean, skip this. I mean, but but just write in the chats. Okay, I'll just ask it in the chats if that is fine. All right. I hope you have these values, and whoever didn't see the question, yeah, I mean, I hope you saw it now while I was explaining it. So I will just ask the values. You can answer me in the chat. Okay. In close brackets, as it was a list type. Did I make any mistake? Isn't 421 enclosed in brackets? Yeah, 421 is yes, Aditya. 421 was enclosed in brackets because it is a list type. I mean, I am assigning a list to it. Okay, so the question is, what are the values so I want second value of A, second value of B, first value of C, and first value of D. So this is I mean, you write the answer in the chats. We'll go to the next question, and when we'll take a break from that, when I'll explain the task, I'll verify your answers. Okay, so chat, I mean, I hope you can see what I've written. uh, so the second programming assignment here is reversing an integer. Okay, so we can see how we can reverse strings, because strings, they are I mean, they are stored as whatever the size of my string is, I'll have those many blocks. So if I have one string called uh, string if I have one string called string string 6, okay, so I'll have 6 blocks, each for one letter. But if I have an int, regardless of the size of the int, it is stored in one block. So how do I reverse an integer? So this is one example that you have. If I input, so I have to write a function. If I input 2 3 4 4 5, my output should be, I mean, I want it to store in one more int, so my answer or whatever, I should return the value 54432. Okay, so and so one way to do that is, I mean, I'm not sure if you have been taught that or not, type conversion. So I convert it to a string, reverse that string, convert it back to an int, and then output. Okay, that you can do. It will take 4 or 5 lines, that's all. But I don't want to do that. I don't want any type conversions here. So just so I have explained it. Okay, you can keep the name of the function whatever you want. I have named it as int rev. Okay, so I'll stop sharing now. You have 10 minutes. So while you are solving that, I'll just look at the chat. Yeah, people have got somewhat different answers. Not everyone has the same. Oh God. Yeah, please refrain from sharing your own screen. Okay, because ah, All right, so oh God, no. Sorry. Yeah, so I was checking the answers for the previous question. Most of you have got it right, some are wrong. So the right answer is 40, 147, 50 and 28. Okay, if I had made the question more complex, it would have been better, but whatever. Some of you have got it wrong, but so how much time is left? 6 minutes are left. Okay. Uh, while others are solving, I'll just quickly explain what I expected here. So B is A 1 to whatever. Okay, so B is 93, 147, 10,000. But I'm just copying B. So B and A are separate entities. They are not the same. D and A are the same entities. So whatever change I make in D will affect A and vice versa. And C is also 93, 147, 10,000. B and C have the same values, but they are not pointing at the same entities. Okay. So now C0 has become, I have updated C0 to 50. So now C is 50, 147, 10,000. I have updated D1 to 40. So since I made a change in D, it also affected A. That means A1 is 40, B1 is 147, C0 is 50 and D0 is 28. All right. So easy. And now to reverse the integer. So let me check. You have 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes left. So people are sharing. Okay. So people are sharing their. You can use modulo operator dividing by 2. I don't know what good dividing by 2 will do. So I'll repeat the question in the chat. Reverse an integer. So so this is what I'm expecting, and so it will not be by 2, it will be by 10, sum is 0, this, that. So it is good to see that you are discussing amongst yourselves in the chat. You can share your ideas, etc., etc. Yeah, but I would have preferred if you had kept your ideas to yourselves and shared it when it was time to share, because now these 10 minutes that I gave you was for your own. People who have done the done the question, so have written the function, can you please give a thumbs up? I just want a count. Kindly display the previous question. I want to take screenshot. Gaurav, by previous question. Okay, wait. Yeah, take a screenshot. Just share. So quite a number of people. Okay, it's not quite a number of people. One person has been putting thumbs up like some 10 times. So Gaurav, please take a screenshot. Try it on your own. This may be misleading for the viewers because we are doing this question, but this is on screen. Uh, 1 more minute is left. All right. Yeah, I hope you have captured the screen. I'll stop sharing. Okay, good. You have taken the screenshot. How much time is left? 45 seconds. Gaurav, do you have a doubt? You have raised your hand, that's why. All right. All right. 10 minutes are up. So I'll jump straight into writing the code because you have given your inputs in the chat itself that we can use modulo 10, etc., etc. Okay. So I'll write the code. You just ask me if you have any doubts. Yeah, please explain how to do it. So while I write the code, I'll also explain what I'm doing and why I'm doing. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible. So my function was called what was my function called? Int rev, right? Int rev, input as n. N is the number I input. Yeah, this time I didn't forget to put the. So thankfully it automatically indented, and you can see here it is one space, right? One dot means one space. So I'll start writing the code. Let's say answer is 0. I'm initializing the value. So while in more than 0, right? Just so 2 spaces, so 3 spaces. This is 2 spaces, 2 spaces, 3. All right. So while yeah, so answer is no wait, sorry. So I'll substitute the values. Okay, so let's say I have one remainder r comma n, right? I am assigning the values as so r means remainder, no? So remainder with 10. So this will give me the tens place of the number. So if I have if my number is 1 2 3 4, this will sorry, not tens place, ones place, sorry, excuse my this thing. So it will give me the ones place, and n I'll replace with n. So I hope you know what this sign means. Double slash, it means quotient. So quotient and remainder, right? So 1 2 3 4 double slash 10 will be 123 because it is 123 into 10 plus 4. Okay. Now ans will be 10 into remainder plus, sorry, 10 into ans plus remainder. All right. So I'm updating the value in place. So this, like I mentioned before, single equal to is giving it the value. So answer is getting updated each time. Right. Now this is done. This is all the code it is. I'll return once. So while it will tell me to put colon, so yeah, initializing and write traversing, oh no, not traversing, okay, never mind. So now I want int rev of my number, this is my number, whatever, okay. I'll run this, no errors, thankfully. I'll run this, I got the reverse. So what have I done here? So to see what I have done here, I'll write this. I mean, this is a very convenient way to see how the code is flowing, okay. So my input was this thing n was 44586. So to reverse a number, I need so ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place, and 10,000s place. To reverse a number, this I have to make as 10,000s place. So 6 into 10,000 plus 8 into 1000 plus 5 into 100 plus 4 into 10 plus 4 into 1. Okay. So this is what I need to do to reverse it. So how do I know that which is in the ones place, which is in the tens place, etc., etc. So to know what is in the ones place, I'll just take the remainder with 10. Okay. So when I do that, I'll get the remainder r, which is 6, and answer I started as 0, right. Just to say that I have a variable called answer, I just wrote answer is 0, and I'll just keep updating the values inside the loop. So when I do that, answer is now 0, right. So I have updated answer, like answer is 10 times answer plus r, because now it is 6, okay, because it was 0, it is just 6. So now if I want to add one more number, I have to shift it, I have to shift my 6 to the right, sorry, to the left. So to shift it to the left, I have to multiply it by 10, so that now the ones place has been freed up, and then a new number can come, and I have updated n to be the quotient. So if I have this number 586, right. So I have updated it to be the quotient. So now n, that was 4458. Now n is basically, yeah, here n is still 4458. Now n has become 445. Oh yeah, sorry, n was 44586. So after the first pass, it became 4458. I mean, I took quotient with 10, right? Then it became 445. Then it became 44. Then it became 4. Then it became 0. So my while loop said I'll keep on running the code till n reaches 0, till as long as n is more than 0, right. So that was my loop condition. So when it became 4, it was still more than 0. So I do the same thing, n modulo 10 and n quotient 10. So 4 by 10 is 0 into 10 plus 4. So so quotient is 0. So n has become its quotient with 10. So quotient is 0, remainder is 4. 4 has been added to the answer, not directly added. You can see what is going on here. and finally it has reached 0, it checks while n more than 0, it is false. So I have exited the loop, and now I can return the answer, that is all. Okay. So the answer has been returned, I have exited the loop, easy. So I hope this was clear, right. So I will show you once more. I will remove this because this is taking some space. Yeah. So it was 6, 6 has been shifted to the tens place now to make space for 8. So now I have 68, 68 into 10 is 680 plus 5, 685 into 5 is 6850 plus 4. Similarly I am doing that. Okay, so this thing you may see that it has been repeated because it is printing it once here, and it's also returning the value. All right, so that is why you can see it twice. Any doubts? Oh, wait. Abruptly not sharing the screen was. Sorry. Look at this for 1 or 2 minutes. I mean, half a minute, and then we'll check if you have any doubts, or we'll just directly address the doubts. Yeah. Do you have any doubts? Okay. So if I initialize with this rather than 0, then what will happen? So this you initialize for null strings. Okay, for null strings you put just double quotes. Sir, please explain. I hope you got the explanation of why I did modulo 10 Subramanya. Okay, and so when I want to initialize an integer as 0, I will write 0. When I want to initialize an integer, a string as a blank string, I will just write quotes. And when I want to initialize a list as an empty list, empty string or blank string, whatever, and 0. So Priyanshu Pandey, I hope it is clear, because this double quotes is for strings, and for an empty list I'll just write square brackets. I'll put 2 square brackets, initializing so just these square brackets with nothing inside them would say that it is an empty list. Okay. Now for the last question. Okay, this is also interesting. We did so we worked with integers, then now we'll work with a string. Okay, so I have to write a function to see if the brackets are balanced. That is, for every bracket that opens, I have a bracket which closes it. Okay, so I have to see if it is true or not. Okay, so true or false. So if I have so my function's name is braccheck. I mean, I just gave the name. You can change the name whatever to whatever. You can change the name to symmetric to see if the brackets are symmetric. I mean, it's all up to you. Naming of functions. I think there was also one lecture on how you can name functions and how you can't. So just make sure to follow the scheme, right? So this bracket is for the function. Okay, so I mean it is part of the syntax. So you can't possibly check for this bracket. So this double quotes is where I start. I write something, and if the brackets are not balanced, so I am opening this bracket. I have closed this. One more closed bracket is here, so false. I'll write one more example just to sorry, yeah, all right. So here what is going on, I have opened bracket number 1, then opened bracket number 2, closed it, and then string is closed. Okay, so even this is not balanced, it's false. Here what is going on, 1 opened, 2 opened, 2 closed, 1 closed. Okay, and yeah, of course there is one more term after that, it's also part of the string, but these brackets don't dictate how the string works. Okay, that's, please keep that in mind. So the task is only to write a function to see if the brackets are balanced, that's all. So you have 10 minutes, 10 minutes. I'll actually, we are a little short on time, so okay, fine, take 10 minutes, it's okay. I'll give you 8 minutes if that is fine. Okay, because we are 8 minutes to solve it. So you have the question in front of you. I mean, I have explained what to do, so I'll stop sharing, and if someone has any, so if someone has any doubt, you can, cannot see screen. Oh, Gaurav, I hope you saw the question on the screen because I just stopped sharing. Yeah, good. So there are people who joined now, and I mean, I don't know. Anyway, Subramanya, I hope you understood why we did, uh, why we took remainder and quotient. Okay, I just hope you understood that. And answer is equal to this. What is wrong? Oh, Priyansh. Okay, okay. Yeah, okay. While we're doing this, if you have any doubts from the previous question, I'll be willing to address them. If not, then I'm happy that you understood. So I think Subramanya still didn't get. Okay, uh, no need to be ashamed. It's, I'll explain it once more. Okay, sorry. I think Subramanya still didn't understand. So it's okay. I mean, I'll explain it once more. I'll try to explain it in a better fashion. So just a minute. Yeah, so I hope you can see my screen, right? So when I take, so this operator is called the remainder operator. It gives me the remainder, right? Remainder, so quotient, remainder, divisor, all that, all these terms I hope you are familiar with. And this is what gives me the quotient. Okay, so if I just write, if I just put divide here, then if it is not a multiple of 10, my int will become float, and I'll get some weird decimal point values and all that I don't want. That is why I'm not using that sign. I'm just using the quotient sign here, right? So I am, so a number is, let's say I'm doing a by b. So A by B will be C into B, right? So C is the quotient, C into B plus 1 R. R is the remainder, because A might not B might not perfectly divide A. So that is why we have a remainder and a quotient. Okay. So answer, since it's an integer and not a string, I have initialized it as 0 and not this. Okay, 0. And here, so why I am doing this, that's sort of. So remainder is, so if I divide it by 10, whatever remainder I get, that is the ones place of this number. Okay, ones place, tens place, hundreds place, all that, 1000, 10,000, whatever. So I can write I can write 4 4, let's take a small, let's work with a smaller number. Okay, uh, yeah, my number is 158. So 158 I can write as 1 into 1 158 is 1 into 1 plus 5 into 10 plus, okay, I'm really sorry, 1 into 100 plus 5 into 10 plus 8 into 1. Alright, I want my answer to be, I want this at the hundreds place, this at the, so when I reverse it, 851 is 8 into 100 plus 5 into 10 plus 1 into 1, right. This is what I want. So to do this, what should I do? So I'll first find out what is at the ones place. Okay, ones place I found, so which was 8. So I'll update that to my answer, which I initialized at 0. Now my number itself n has become the quotient. So 158 divided by 10 is 150 into 10 plus sorry, it is 15 into 10 plus 8. So quotient is 15. So now n has become 15. All right. So so in the new loop, r is the remainder of 10 and 15, that is 5, and n has now become quotient, that is 1, right. So n has become 1. So r is now 5 and answer was 8. So I multiply that by 10, it has become 80 plus r, which is 5, so 85. So 85 is my new answer. Now n is 1, I'll go back to the loop. So what is 1 by 10 is 0 into 10 plus 1. So quotient is 0. So now next time it will not go in the loop, because that was a loop's condition. And the so quotient is 0 and the remainder r is 1, right. So it was already 85, so I multiply that by 10 again. So basically here I multiplied it by 1, just 8, just look at 8. Then I multiplied that by 10, so it became 80. 10 once more, it became 800, right. So I mean 8 into 100. So that is why I am doing this. All right. So time is up exactly now. So timing was actually good, and I'll stop sharing and go back to Google Meet. Okay. Regarding tuples during weekly assignment. So tuples, it is in week 3, I suppose. So I'm ready with the solution of task 3. Okay. All right. So yeah. So let's quickly write the code for task 3. Okay. So some people have done, some people have not done. I mean I'm happy that a few could do it. I mean many of you could do it. share the screen again and we'll quickly write the code. Alright, so def, so the name of my bracket check, input is a string, okay, so I'll write that as s. So again it's not giving me indentation by default, so I'll have a counter called flag equals 0. So I'll explain what flag does after writing the code. Okay, so flag is 0, and now I'll just traverse the string for so I'm traversing the string from start to end. Right. I mean start to end as in it will stop one before. So if I find a uh, ith part of the string of the my input, if it is equivalent to my this bracket, all right, then I'll add the flag counter. Flag equals flag plus 1. So that means I'm counting my brackets which open. Okay, so flag is basically a counter to check how many brackets am I opening. Else if, it's called elif here, if I encounter something that closes the bracket, right, if I encounter something that closes the bracket, I'll say flag equals flag minus 1, right. And here itself within this, if flag is less than 0, return false. So this if is part of the part of this elif, okay, else if, and now this if is also done. I'll just, okay, how many spaces? One, right. Return what is here?
Sir, F will be capital, sir. Sir, in Python, the false is true and false are treated capitals. T and F are capitals.
Okay, so one.
I think we didn't put the semicolon after if and elif
So
statement.
something
We didn't put
wrong with
the
the
semicolon.
syntax.
Sir, it will not be colon, sir. For I in range 0, comma, len of s. And false f will be capital. So it will be comma, sir. 0, comma.
Okay, so yeah, finally I found out what is wrong here because I can't write 0 to that for some reason, and I'll
No
write
colon after if condition, elif
why is it
conditions.
wrong? Why is it wrong? It is not wrong. I have to. Oh, sorry. This is I mean you don't really have this thing in other programming languages. Finally, so I'll check back check. Let's just save time and just
Sir,
copy this.
f in false will be small letter, sir.
So I can't paste it. Never mind. I'll just write one thing called. So what this does is it automatically adds a bracket when I open a bracket. Okay. So here I've closed this. I'll hit enter. Sorry, I'll run it. It's false because I have one opening. I mean, sorry, this bracket has been opened. One more has been opened. Only one has been closed. Okay. Now I'll change it to. I'll just close this and I'll run it again. It will show true. So I'll just quickly explain the code. We are already past 8, but just quickly explain the code because name is brack check. So I have defined this as this. I don't need to do this. I can just write len s. Right. I can just do this. So flag was my counter here. So I start with 0. I traverse the range of the string, right? So from each, so I start with x, then go to this. Whenever I hit something like an something which is an opening of a bracket, that will add 1 to flag. Okay, so to see how many times the bracket has been opened, and when I hit something that is this this closing of a bracket, it says okay, the bracket has this bracket has been closed, so let's decrease the counter. So if it was 1, so let's so one set of brackets has been fully closed, so we'll decrease the counter. Okay, so no hanging or dangling open brackets are there, but if there is one, so we saw if there is one extra open bracket, then it will be false, but it's also possible that there are extra closing brackets, right? So that way my flag will become negative. So I'm saying if flag is less than 0, return false. So once it returns, it exits from the function function. Okay, so it has returned false. Done. So if I let's check that as well, right? Name error. to run this each time and then run this. Okay, false. So this statement, so now let's say this is not a case, so flag can so if all the brackets are properly closed, flag is 0. If not, let's say one extra open bracket is there, then 1, or I mean more than 0. So this says if flag is 0, I mean if the statement is true, if this statement is correct, this condition, that means it's true, it will return true. If it is not true, it will return false. That's all. I mean if it is not 0, it will return false. Okay. uh, so yeah. Stop presenting. What will happen if there are more than one opening and no closing? Open queue. Yeah, Gaurav, please go on with the doubt.
Why the if statement and return
Oh, sorry,
false?
sorry. Wait. Please stop. Yeah, yeah. Now ask.
Okay, why the if statement with return of false? Because when I'm trying the code without that, negative flag is also giving me false. Only return for flag equal to true is giving me false and true the correct way.
Yeah, I know. Why you're asking why that is? So it is to make the code more efficient. Okay. So once so see, if you have some 10 extra closing brackets, flag will become -10 and then it will exit. Okay, so it will keep on reading. I am saying once it becomes -1, the moment it becomes -1, it will exit, it will stop, it will just stop to read and it will exit. So it is basically to make the code more efficient. That's all.
Okay, understood.
Okay, great. uh, so Priyanshu has a doubt. Someone has written the, what about this counter is 0 0. Sir, F will be in capital letters. Oh, okay. So this was when I was okay. When I was struggling. Oh, we have to write false.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Sir, in C and other language, we write an F and so on, but in Python, it means it can.
So that is what happens when you like try to do multiple, when you try to learn multiple languages at once. Thank you, Sakshar, and uh, yeah, yeah. I mean now that that problem is not happening anymore. So thank you. Uh, I think it was a mistake by me. And Priyanshu Pandey, what? So I hope your doubt is also clear, Priyanshu. If there are more than one closing, I mean if no closing brackets are there, it will constantly keep on increasing. Okay, and I don't want to cut it off when my flag becomes 2 or 3, because closing brackets may come later. Okay, but once the number of closing brackets exceeds number of opening brackets, that is once it becomes negative, I'll cut it off. I mean I'll exit the function there itself. All right. So that was all for today.
One question, that if statement comes right after elif, no, it does not. It does not come out of the for loop, right? The last if statement where flag is less than zero.
Last if statement comes under elif. I mean it is a part of that elif.
Okay, it's part of the elif. Fine.
Yeah. It comes below. I mean it is a sub. I mean like if an elif come under the for, and that last if is, it comes under elif. It is not directly under for. Okay.
Understood.
Okay. So I think it's already time. Sorry for keeping you for this long. I hope you understood. I think from next class onwards, we'll just start sharply at 6. We'll not wait for 5 minutes, 10 minutes for more students to join, because yeah. Okay. Okay then. What if this comes before this function will start? Function, it will not return true. Vijay, so if closing bracket will come before opening bracket, it will directly flag is 0. It saw the closing bracket, it became -1. It said false and it came out. That's all. So uh, Vijay, it will not be true. You can write it and check it yourself, and try to write these codes on your own. Okay, and I hope you've done assignment two's, sorry, week two's assignments. So that's all for today. So bye.